Hello everyone. So today a subscriber has requested that I rank the Disney princess films, and let's do it. Okay, so I'm not just focusing on the golden age, because Disney has had a couple of golden ages, maybe even three, and then there's the Pixar golden age. So let's just say we're going to rank the Disney princesses, and we're not going to talk about Bruno because it's not a princess. So, you know, there are going to be some films left off the list that you might be like, oh, and you know, all those silly people who like, oh, isn't the alien from Aliens a Disney princess now? No. There is one that I will add from Fox, but I think everyone will understand why. And so the way I'm ranking them, so it's based on the Internet Movie Database, because honestly, for myself personally, I find that's one of the more reliable sources. Now, it's based on two things. One is the score, the aggregated score, and then how many people voted. So that's the tiebreaker. So if two films have the same score, but one has had more votes, then the one with more votes is going to outrank the one with less votes. Now there will be some recency bias, but anyway, it's just a list. Let's have fun. You're meant to disagree with it. I know I certainly do. So let's just have fun and a conversation. Okay, let's get to it. As Kylie Minogue once said. Okay, so number 15, we're starting with... It's probably no surprise to anyone. Pocahontas, which is sort of based on a true story, a little bit inspired by the true story of an explorer who came to the Americas and met with Pocahontas. Now, in real life, the explorer is much older, and Pocahontas herself is a lot younger. So Disney has made it a lot more palatable. So I think because of that ickiness behind the scenes is perhaps why it's not ranked as high. Funnily enough, during the making of it, I believe a lot of Disney people thought that this was going to be bigger than The Lion King, and people working on The Lion King requested to go on Pocahontas, which is kind of funny, right? Now, Pocahontas, which got 6.7 from 197,000 votes, is actually, so it is the lowest. And yeah, as I mentioned, I think it is because of the ickiness of the behind the scenes story. But what I will say, and I will comment about this on all of them, I think this has one of the best songs. Vanessa Williams doing Colours of the Wind. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, this is one of those films where I'm actually not sure if I've watched it or not. So I apologize for that. But anyway, it's the bottom of the list, and it kind of makes sense because of the ick factor of the behind-the-scenes drama. I wish Disney would have something for the Native Americans that didn't quite have that factor. Okay, so moving on to number 14, with 7.1 and from 131,000 votes is Anastasia, and this is the only entrant from outside the Disney canon, but I think it kind of deserves being here. It's Don Bluth's most Disney, like he really went for, I want to make a Disney princess film, and he did. He's got, there's big stars like Meg Ryan playing the voices, so this really went all out, and I think it is actually well remembered, even though it probably is the least viewed of all of these. It's the least ranked, let's say, even though it's not the lowest. It's not the lowest. Anyway, I haven't seen this one, so I can't comment on it, but I know it's very popular among the people who have seen it. It's well liked. Coming in at number 13 is actually one of my favorites, with again 7.1 from the IMDb voters, but this time with 158,000 votes, so a little bit higher, but still I think a little bit underwatched. Although I have noticed a lot of little girls on Instagram have been dressing up as Tiana. Sorry, I should mention the name. It's The Princess and the Frog, and I love this movie. So it's basically the Frog Prince. The girl who kisses the frog, kisses the frog and hopes to be a prince, but only this time, oh no, she turns into a frog too. Anyway, and it's just delightful. It's and especially as like a creator, like for me personally, like I really resonate with this story of this girl who dreams of opening a restaurant. Like just the fact that she has this big dream, and she falls in love along the way to achieving that dream, and and it just has that wonderful like meeting of opposites from like all of those great romantic stories, and the fireflies are magical. The saxophone playing alligator is wonderful. All the voices are really great, and I just love this movie. The one fly in the ointment is the terrible song on the credits, and I listened to the director's commentary. They think it's pretty bad too. So, okay. Anyway, I love this movie. I think this is very, very underrated. Okay, so another film that I think is underrated is coming in at number 12, again with 7.1, the votes of 7.1, a score of 7.1, and this is from 158,000, this is coming from 428,000 voters, so this is definitely a lot more popular, is Brave. Now again, I think this is underrated, and I think maybe the reason why is because there was a bit of a bait and switch with this film, in that it seemed from the trailers to be one thing, but when you watch the film you don't realize you're actually watching the story of bears. But of course at the beginning and the end you get the great, the beautiful Scottish red hair, and doing the archery, and it's glorious. Like this is a really, really good movie. Don't remember any of the music. There might have been, but anyway, it's not as bad as The Princess and the Frog. I think this is the point where they're kind of cooling on the idea of having that, like, big adult contemporary song on the credits to, like, really promote the film. But anyway, I'm going to say this is a bit underrated, and it's probably not the most underseen, but I'd say it's a little bit underrated, and I think that's because of this bait and switch. Okay, so next, coming in with a score of 7.2, from 156,000 votes. These classic films are not really getting that many votes. Is Sleeping Beauty. Okay, now the prick of the finger with she falls asleep. It's a classic fairy tale. And Maleficent, it spawned like this, 2 films, I think. But honestly, like, it's a great story. It is a little bit like Princess Mononoke from Ghibli, when, the title Sleeping Beauty, you think it's going to be about her, but obviously she's asleep for most of the film, so it's really more about the prince in this case. This could, I don't know, like it anyway. It's around the same. It's probably the lower. It is the lowest of the classics, as you can see. But it's a delightful story, and this was part of Disney's kind of comeback era after some financial struggles. So you can see that there is a slightly cheaper production to Sleeping Beauty, but they managed to make it very stylistic, versus, say, like the Bambi era, where every frame is a painting, literally. Like, it's just, they really didn't get any better than Bambi. Anyway, so I'm going to say this is not underrated and not overrated, but I think it's a bit underseen, let's just say. So coming in at number 10, okay, we're in the top 10 now, and it's a film which I haven't seen, sorry. It's Raya and the Last Dragon. The score is 7.3 from 163,000 votes. So perhaps it's a little bit underseen. I can't comment on the score because I actually haven't watched it. I struggle what to say about this film because one of my favorite YouTubers, Lindsay Ellis, got completely cancelled after she talked about this film. So what can I say? I enjoyed Kelly Tran in the Star Wars films, and she's the lead character here. I would like to check this film out. I have to admit being a little bit confused by the trailer. That'll be my one comment. But I'm eager to check it out. So coming in at number 9, again with 7.3 as the score, with 168,000 votes, is Cinderella. Now, what could be more classic than Cinderella? I mean, my goodness, this really feels underrated, and it really feels underseen. So now it's in the top 10. I think it's a wonderful story. You know, bippity boppity boop. You know, it's. I think people dismiss it a little bit, but the songs are marvelous, and you know, there's a real charm about Cinderella. Like, she's very easygoing. Like, she has a pretty awful life, but she's like, you know what? You know, She's very stoic. She takes each day as it comes. She dreams of a better future, but you know, all she wants is just that one night, and she ends up getting a whole different future for herself. It's a lovely movie, and the whole thing, it's kind of spawned that whole like Cinderella genre. Okay, so coming in at number 8, I think this is going to upset a lot of people. So, with 7.4 as a score, from a whopping 645,000 voters, is Frozen, otherwise known as Anna and the Snow Queen in Japan. Can you believe it? What an upset! Frozen this low? Now, I have to say, you know, by the time Frozen came to Japan, now, you know, Japan is always last on the list. So I was so overhyped to see Frozen. I mean, you know, one of the best songs that Disney has put out in a long, long, long time. Like, so good that the, you know, honestly, not that great version by Demi Lovato, like the quote-unquote pop version, that got pretty much ignored. Like, it got a little bit of airplay. There's a Japanese version which did fairly well, but Idina Menzel really struck gold with Let It Go. You know, an instant classic film, and that sequence which Disney put on YouTube, instant classic. It's just, it's brilliant, and the soundtrack is really what shines in Frozen. It is a wonderful story. I will say, you know, I like another film better, which was kind of similar and came out just beforehand. But, you know, I'm actually really surprised that Frozen is this low. You know, considering just how popular it is, you know, it is the most well-rated of any of these films. You know, 645,000 votes. But it's at 7.4. The numbers don't lie. What do you think? Should it be higher? Even though I think it's a little, you know, I was overhyped, so by the time I watched the movie, I was like, oh, you know, that's great, but not as good as I was expecting. So, anyway, so that's Frozen. So coming in at number 7, now this might be another upset, but it is the first Disney feature film. It is Snow White with 7.6 as a score from 209,000 voters, which is probably the most of the sort of golden age films. There's only 3 of them: Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, and Snow White. Believe it or not, most of this princess films got made later, which is funny. But anyway, Snow White only has 7.6, and of course it's the classic fairy tale of Cinderella. What Disney really did to change it was to make the evil queen beautiful. So it was very, very subversive for the time, because usually you would represent a good person as being beautiful and a bad person as being not beautiful. But this is it was a very bold move of theirs, and I think it has one of my favorite shots of all time, like so hard to animate, is her looking into the well, the wishing well, and the ripples. And it's just one of the most beautiful shots in all of animation, and one of the most difficult to do. But yeah, I think this should be higher. I think Snow White should be much, much higher. But anyway, I mean, I'm saying that about a lot of them, so what would my actual rank be? I'm not sure. So, maybe at number 7 could be the right place for it. I don't know. It's hard to judge with, when they're all classic films. They really are all really, really good films. Okay, so coming in at number 6... votes is The Little Mermaid. So The Little Mermaid also clocks in with a score of 7.6, but she's achieved that from more votes, 281,000 votes. So I should probably mention the reason why I'm doing this is because IMDb actually weights having more votes much higher themselves. And it really, we're getting into rarefied territory, with the way people have views that are so polar opposite. And the fact is that you could have like 10 votes at 10 out of 10, but then the way Amazon skews things is that if you get one vote of 1 out of 10, the lowest you can give it, the lower votes are much more highly weighted. So yeah, okay. So The Little Mermaid, look, it's a wonderful story. Ursula is of course classic, incredible, based on the drag queen Divine, and some of the best songs. Like this was a real musical. Like, it has some of the best songs. Like, can you name some of your favorites? Like Under the Sea is a favorite of mine. Yeah, probably Under the Sea is my favorite, but Be Our Guest. Oh, sorry. Under the Sea is my favorite. What's your favorite? Okay, so coming in at number 5. With, again, 7.6 as a vote from 304,000 votes. So we're entering the top 5. We're in very rarefied air now. Is MULAN. And to me, this makes perfect sense. Again, like The Little Mermaid, the music is incredible. Reflection was a great song from Christina Aguilera, and Make a Man Out of You is just a wonderful, wonderful song. Like it, Reflection, Make a Man. Like, it has really good songs. Eddie Murphy's very good. I'll particularly say that I like the fact that they use for like the clouds, like the ancient Chinese art. So you may not know this about me, but I actually studied Chinese watercolor painting under someone who studied it under someone who was in the emperor's court, back when China still had the dynastic empire. So anyway, I wasn't that good at it, but I certainly loved doing it, and I really appreciated the thought that went into the design of Mulan, and it's a great story, and everyone looks great. I haven't seen the live action remake, but anyway, Mulan itself, wonderful. I feel it's a bit underseen, at least, or underrated. But I think being top 5, I think that's the perfect place for it. But I would like to see more people vote for it. Okay, so next, number 4. Again, with a score of 7.6, is MOANA. And it's got 358,000 votes. So, again, wonderful music. This, again, I think this makes sense. MOANA was a joy to watch. It just... oh gosh, I keep talking about the music, but I really love the songs in MOANA. How Far I Go, I think, is probably the big one that I really loved. I think it doesn't really have a villain, which is, I don't know, a bit disappointing for an old school Disney fan like myself, but I enjoyed the way it was animated. Sometimes CG, I think, can lose some heart, and this film had heart. I think they need to make more films like this from different cultures around the world. MOANA, wonderful film, and I think it deserves being in the top 5. Okay, coming in at number 3 with a score of 7.7, 476,000 votes, is Tangled, otherwise known as based on the story of Rapunzel. And this makes perfect sense. Flynn is a wonderful addition to the story. I know he's very much an Aladdin ripoff, but it works so well. And the horse was amazing. I loved them fighting with her hair and with the clanging of the pot. That was wonderful. The lights, that was just magical. Like, this was, apparently it was their 50th film, and so Disney went all out. Like, it's one of the most expensive films Disney's ever made, or animation they've ever made. So I don't know if it got a profit, but it's definitely had a longer shelf life, and I think it's going to continue. Maybe this is a recency bias, but I think it deserves its place in this sort of rarefied air of the top 5. Okay, so there's only 2 left. What do you think is there? So, once I reveal, they both have the same score, so I'll reveal them together. So they both have the score of 8, and One clocks in with 446,000 votes, and the other clocks in at 469,000 votes. So barely 23,000 votes separating the two of them. So who is number 2 and who is number 1? Well, drum roll please. Okay, hand me the card. I hope this is not going to be a Moonlight moment where I call out the wrong, and it's La La Land. Sorry, La La Land, it's actually Moonlight. Anyway, so... Okay, so coming in, runner-up is Aladdin, which means that Beauty and the Beast is number 1. Wow, so look at that. I get Beauty and the Beast being number 1. I have to say I get it. Again, the songs are beautiful, the story is magical. This, after The Little Mermaid, is really kind of catapulted that second Disney golden age. Second? Third? But anyway, this sort of that 90s golden age of films. It's very romantic and the songs are beautiful, story's beautiful. It's a wonderful story. I can see why it's number 1. Aladdin, now of course, I grew up with Robin Williams, as I'm sure many of you did, and he is Genie. Like, nobody else can be Genie. I'm sorry. And again, Aladdin's wonderful himself. Jasmine makes a good princess. It's a really fun. It's a fun adventure story. I've sung what's the song around I can show you the world, da, 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 da. Anyway, that song I've sung at karaoke before, even though I'm a terrible singer. But karaoke in Japan, they have those microphones which pitch correct your voice, so it sounds better than you actually sound. It makes sense, but I feel like there's a bias because I'm coming at it from the elder millennial kind of point of view, because this was my childhood, right? So I think I have rose tinted glasses when it comes to Aladdin. I feel this might be a bit controversial to say, but I feel like a lot of Robin Williams jokes are very I don't want to say dated, but very of that time. So I don't know if younger generations are going to get the references, but maybe they'll just get caught up with everything, and they seem to love it, right? It's number 2, so let the people judge, right? So look, overall, I would say it's a pretty good list. Personally, I feel like Brave and Princess and the Frog should be in the top 10 at the very least. It's a tough list, and considering how popular Frozen was, I really thought Frozen was going to be in the top 5, or honestly, I thought it was going to be number 1. But Beauty and the Beast makes a lot of sense. I think like how when those greatest movies of all times lists go ahead, they always vote for Citizen Kane. I really feel like Snow White deserves to be number 1, just because of the innovation And, you know, the fact that none of these other films would be possible without Snow White, that it was the first feature-length animation. People didn't think that kids could watch a feature-length animation. So, you know, the whole industry owes itself to Snow White and its success. So I really think Snow White should be number one. But, you know, what do you think? Do you agree with IMDb's list? Or would you change a few things around? You know, I mean, obviously there's a few that I haven't watched, so I can't be, you know, 100% like this is what I was planning on watching a couple of them for this video, but unfortunately I don't want to sign up for Disney Plus, sorry, and Amazon Prime only has the Japanese dubs, so I can't really judge, you know, based on like the films that are available to me. So hopefully the ones that I haven't seen, Pocahontas, Anastasia, and Raya and the Last Dragon, I'll be able to watch at some point in the future. But anyway, let me know what you think, and would you like me to rank any more videos or do any more ranking videos? I think they're interesting to discuss. Okay, thank you so much for listening. If you've made it this far, please subscribe if you haven't, and hopefully you'll enjoy more videos just like this one. Okay, mwah, thank you.